This is a video about chain waxing. I've seen a lot of videos about chain waxing, but it's typically road bike related. So I decided to make a video to see if waxing the chain makes sense for a mountain biker.
Flashback.
Here's a quick tutorial on how to wax chains. Pretty simple. Firstly, you take the chain off. Then I used a cleaner / degreaser. It doesn't matter which kind. Fill it up, shake it around, and then take it out from the degreaser and I'll put it in a bottle of water. And same thing, shake it out. After thoroughly shaking it, just put it on a rag. As you can see, this is a very professional setup. I just used my old t-shirt to dry out the chain. I am using the Silca Chain Waxing System. You can use any crock pot, it doesn't really matter. But for me, it's just convenient. They have it really nicely set up, so I'm not sponsored or anything. I just picked it up and used my own money. But I will say it's pretty convenient to have it all in one system like this. Since I was using their Silca wax system, I decided to use their own chain blend as well as their strip chip. The strip chip's really useful if you have a brand new chain. You don't need to degrease it, you just use that. Very convenient. I also bought the chain coating. It's supposed to be a stopgap in between chain waxings to give you a longer life. I haven't really had a chance to use it, to be honest. As you can see, went a little bit overboard. I used the strip chip despite me degreasing my chain. I just figured might as well put it in there. Also, I dumped the wax inside the crock pot at the same time. There are certain temperature requirements you need to follow when you're using the Silca system. It comes with directions, you just follow the directions, it's very simple. Then once you have everything in the pot, you just wait for it to melt. Alright, once the wax and the strip chip has completely melted, then you just dump the wax in there. It comes with this handy dandy carrier, so it makes it very convenient to put your wax in and take it out of the pot. Once your chain is waxed and dried, it'll be stiff. You'll have to loosen it by hand, and then you'll have to mount it back on your bike.
The next day.
Just waxed this yesterday, so this is my first time riding the bike with wax on, so I'll record my observations and then go from there. So this is Moses Creek. Like any Florida trail, extremely pedally. You need to pedal for any ounce of speed you want to get on this trail. So this used to be my previous stomping ground. You can hear my gears are not shifting initially well because of the wax. It's a 5.8 mile loop. Ooh. And as you can see, there's a lot of brown ice. Let me know in the comments if you guys have waxed your chain at all and what your experience was like, and whether you thought it was beneficial for you when you're riding or not. I wanted to close your off. Oh. Yeah, no, you're fine, you're fine. Oh, you don't even need to stop, that's fine. Thank you, enjoy it. I don't run into people often at Moses Creek. It's actually kind of nice to see a soul here. I haven't ridden in so long. Riding after 8 days. Decided to take a week off. Hey, if you're enjoying this content, please consider liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it, and it'll help out the channel. Thanks. I really can't, other than my gear's not working.
I really can't tell a huge difference between a wax chain and unwaxed chain. From a shifting perspective, I don't feel much difference. I'm waiting to pass the verdict. Once the wax clears up a little bit, chain is quiet though. I can barely hear the bike now. It's like ninja silent. So it'll only get better as put more miles in, I would assume.
All right, got one lap in. So far, I'm having problems with my shifting, and that's normal because the wax has developed, so it's gonna take a little bit. It feels very quiet, feels very smooth. I don't know if it's worth the money and the time yet. I'll probably have to go home and take a look at the chain to see how dirty it is.
2 hours later.
All right, now for the moment of truth. Took 2 laps at Moses Creek, and here's what the chain looks like after those 2 laps. It wasn't wet, it was mostly dry and sandy. Wipe the chain. Look at that. That seems pretty clean. Is it worth the money I spent? I think I'll make a determination in the next couple of weeks. If it's truly lower maintenance, then yes, maybe it is worth it. And if it's going to be like this for the next 700 miles, then that's perfect, because I won't have to lubricate the chain or do any sort of maintenance after.
Many months later.
Guys, I got lazy. So this video is almost a year after that initial video that you guys just saw. But it gives a good opportunity for us to take a look at chain waxing. So this is my second bike. I waxed the chain both on my Yeti and the Santa Cruz at the same time. And as you can see, just got done from our lap at Graham Swamp, and it was a muddy mess, absolute disaster. Okay, so this is the next day. So what ended up happening is that on the way back, I started raining like crazy. So the rain washed away a lot of the mud and the dirt off of the bike. But I intentionally left the bike the way it was. So as you can see, it's still kind of muddy. I didn't wash it. I didn't do anything to it other than it's just sitting in the garage, and this is the next day and it kind of dried out. All right, as you can see, I'll move the tire around. You can hear the crunchiness from the sand in the brakes. Same thing back here. If I move it, you can hear it's pretty crunchy. All right. Take this, it's fairly, it's just an old rag, but it's kind of like on the dirty side. So I'm gonna wipe this. So first of all, this is after rain, and I've had this for a couple of miles. I haven't wiped this chain at all. So I'm just gonna wipe it, wipe it. And as you can see, it's minimal dirt. This chain has been on this bike for about a year. So I waxed this chain back in March of 2024, and I've done nothing to it. Literally, maybe it's just a wipe here and there, but I haven't lubricated it. It's been on this bike for 160 miles. This is my second bike, so I don't really use it as much as my Yeti. But I will say that the miles that I do put on this bike are hard miles. This is the bike that I take to bike parks. I take it to North Carolina. Anytime I want to send things, this is the bike I utilize. Now I just wipe it, and now I'm just going to shift gears and we'll see how it performs. There is crunchiness, but after that condition, you would think it'll still be super crunchy, and it's not. And that is the advantage of having a wax chain. not only will it increase the durability of your drivetrain, but say if you're in an event and you got caught in a rainstorm while everybody's gears and stuff are crunchy as hell, you could literally just douse your stuff with water and your stuff will start shifting perfectly. So that right there, along with the low maintenance, it lasts on a mountain bike. It lasts about 6 to 7 months, 8 months, depending on how much you ride. But it's about 400 miles that the waxing will last on your chain. And in that 400 miles, you're basically doing nothing at all. So in my opinion, is it worth it for you or not? That's really up to you to make that decision. For me, I think it is worth it, especially since I have a road bike. And on a road bike, it definitely is worth it because of all the road grime that happens. But if you have a road bike, you have a gravel bike, you have multiple mountain bikes, it makes a lot of sense to just chain wax and chain wax them all at the same time. And this way, not only will your cassette last longer, your chain last longer, your drivetrain lasts longer, and then you have a smooth shifting bike every single time, regardless of the trail conditions.
If you found this video helpful, please consider liking and subscribing.